Do you ever feel like you're being pulled in too many different directions at once? Like you're just being pulled in all sorts of directions everywhere and all the time. At work, you're expected to do, all manner of things. You're being pulled in all directions. You come home and, family is pulling you in all directions. Your friends are pulling you in all directions. Everybody wants something from you. Everybody likes, like, they want their pound of flesh, you know, and it's draining, You feel like everybody just wants you to do something, and it's like nobody cares about you. Nobody ever stops to ask you, like, hey, how you doing? Like, I know you're struggling and you're trying to fulfill all these different roles, but how you really doing? It's like nobody sees how you're tested and how you're stretched. All they want is, it's like everybody just wants something from you, and once they get it, they don't care. As long as they've got what they wanted. And so one of the things that I've come to learn is that you must protect your energy. You must protect your energy. And one of the best ways to protect your energy is by learning to say no. No. That's one of the most powerful words you can ever use. The day you learn to use the word no is the day you begin to understand the power that you have. And why that's important is because you can't do everything. And the way society is set up, everybody wants something from you. It's like you're expected to play these multiple roles and smile while you're doing it. And so learning to say the word no doesn't mean that you're selfish. It doesn't mean that you're inconsiderate. It actually means that you're a respectful person, because one, when you're saying no, you are actually admitting to your limits and saying, you know what, even in as much as I'd like to do this thing that you're asking me to do, I can't do it. And saying no to the people who matter to you the most is one of the hardest things that you can do. I remember the first time that I said no was when I stopped drinking. And so, we'd been to a party one night before, and so the next morning when I woke up, people were like, hey, you guy, you know what you did yesterday? Hey, boss, you were out of order. So that's the day I decided, you know what, I'm not drinking anymore. And so, of course, now when I went out with my friends again, everybody expected that I was going to drink. And so, they'd order shots and everything. And then me, I'm not drinking. And guys are like, hey, what's wrong with you, man? So me, I order like a bright orange Fanta. And they make fun of me. And then they're like, no, you just drink. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And I've stopped. And I could see, they're very perplexed. Like, what do you mean you don't want to? Like, you're saying no, we've bought alcohol. How can you refuse? And it's at that point that I realized, you know what? Saying no is actually being in control of yourself and your surroundings and the way people relate to you. The minute you learn to say no, you begin to see a certain respect from the people in your circles, because they're like, okay, this is somebody who really understands themselves and they're very self-aware, and there's that respect that comes with it. And so the next time when I go out with my friends, instead of ordering Fanta, I would order tea. Yes, in the club, just to annoy them, just to see, like, I realize now I have this power to dictate how people respond to me by how I respond to them when they ask me for things. And so I realized, wow, actually saying no puts you in a position of power, And not only that, it puts you in the position where you protect your energy. I remember the next time I said no, one of the hardest was times I ever had to use the word no was to my employer. When you've just been employed and then, you're trying to impress the boss and you take on more work than you actually can handle, because you want to show that you're capable and you want to show that, you deserve to be there and that you can manage it. But then, of course, what ended up happening is I'd take work for 3 or 4 people and I would end up not being able to do it because I was stretched. And so that was more harm than good. And so I realized, you know what, I'm going to have to actually start saying no to some of these requests for assignments. And it's difficult when you're saying no to your boss, And I'd be like, no, I'd love to do that, but I'm actually swamped. And for me to be able to do what's on my plate now effectively, I can only handle this much workload. Let me finish this, and then once I'm done with this, I can take on these other assignments. And I found that when I said it like that, it wasn't too difficult for them to understand. And they were like, yeah, okay, we want quality work, so you just do what you can handle. And if you can't handle this, delegate the rest. And so that helped me understand the power of delegation. It helped me understand how to manage my workload. It helped me understand how to, work around the limits of, the things that I was doing. And so, and so that was amazing. And the thing about saying no is you're probably going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. People will not understand it, especially people who have been benefiting from just using you and stretching you, and people who, just gain from, asking you to do all these sorts of things because either they themselves are too lazy to do it or they just feel entitled. Those sorts of people won't understand when you say no, and you have to be prepared to lose them, which is okay. And some of them might be your friends, some of them might be your family. But I promise you, the minute you understand the power you have when you say no, that's going to change the rest of your life. Because one, it's going to put you in a position where people actually understand that you know the things that you can do and the things that you cannot. You're honest about them. But more importantly, you're doing that to protect your energy. Protect your energy. And you're going to have to protect your energy from people who are extremely close to you. That is difficult, but trust me, the minute you do it, you'll change your life. Learn to say no.